There is a moment, maybe it happened to you this week, where someone said something that lit a fire inside you. Your chest tightened, your jaw clenched. And before you even realized what was happening, you fired back, and then 5 minutes later, you wished you hadn't. That split second between what happens to you and what you do next is not just a moment. It is the battlefield where your entire character is decided. Welcome back. Today, we are going deep into one of the most powerful ideas in all of Stoic philosophy, training your mind to respond instead of react. And by the end of this video, you are going to have a completely different relationship with your own emotions. Let me ask you something. Have you ever watched someone stay completely calm in a situation that would have made most people explode? Not because they were emotionally numb or disconnected, but because they seemed to be operating from somewhere deeper, somewhere more intentional. That quality is not a personality trait you were born with. It is a skill, and the Stoics figured out the blueprint for developing it over 2,000 years ago. Here is the core distinction you need to understand. Reacting is automatic. It is your nervous system doing what it was designed to do, protect you from threat as fast as possible. That instinct made sense when our ancestors were dealing with predators. But your boss sending a critical email is not a lion. Your partner saying something hurtful is not a physical attack. And yet your brain sometimes treats those things the same way. Responding is different. Responding means there is a pause between the stimulus and your behavior. In that pause lives your freedom, your wisdom, and your power. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the most powerful empire on earth and still found time to write philosophy, understood this completely. He reminded himself constantly that events themselves are neutral. It is the meaning we assign to them and the actions we choose that define our experience. He was not talking about suppressing his feelings. He was talking about not being enslaved by them. So how do you actually train this? Let us get practical, because Stoicism is not just theory, it is a daily practice. The first strategy is developing radical self-awareness. You cannot change a pattern you cannot see. Start noticing the physical signals your body sends right before you react. Maybe your shoulders rise. Maybe your breathing gets shallow. Maybe heat rises in your face. These sensations are your early warning system. When you learn to catch them, you create that essential gap between trigger and action. The Stoics called this prosos, which roughly translates to attention to oneself. They considered it the foundation of all personal growth. The second strategy is the deliberate pause. This sounds almost insultingly simple, but do not underestimate it. When something provokes you, before you say a word or send a message or make a decision, take one conscious breath, just one. That breath is not passive. It is an act of will. It signals to your mind that you are choosing to respond from your values rather than your impulses. Over time, this pause becomes more natural, longer, and more powerful. The third strategy involves reframing how you interpret situations. The Stoics were masters at this. When something goes wrong, the reactive mind immediately assigns blame and generates emotion. The responsive mind asks different questions. What can I actually control here? What would a person of strong character do right now? What is the most constructive way to move through this? Reframing does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means choosing the most empowering and accurate interpretation available to you. Now, here is something the Stoics practiced every morning that sounds almost counterintuitive. They would deliberately visualize difficulty. They would imagine the challenges the day might bring, the frustrating person, the unexpected setback, the moment of temptation to react badly, and they would mentally rehearse responding with wisdom and calm. This was not pessimism, it was preparation. When you have already mentally rehearsed your response to a difficult scenario, you are far less likely to be hijacked by it when it actually occurs. There is also the practice of evening reflection. At the end of each day, simply ask yourself 3 questions. Where did I respond well today? Where did I react in a way I regret? And what would I do differently tomorrow? This is not self-punishment, it is calibration. You are training your mind the same way an athlete trains their body, through consistent, honest repetition. Let us talk about something important that often gets missed in conversations about Stoic emotional control. This is not about becoming cold or robotic. The goal is not to feel less. The goal is to feel fully while still choosing your actions with integrity. Some of the most emotionally intelligent people throughout history were deeply influenced by Stoic ideas, not because it made them detached, but because it made them genuinely effective in their relationships and their leadership. Think about moments in history where panic would have been the natural reaction, but where calm responsiveness changed everything. The people who kept their composure did not do it by accident. They did it because their minds had been trained through practice and philosophy to stay grounded when the world around them was not. Here is the deeper truth behind all of this. Every single time you choose to respond instead of react, you are casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. One moment at a time, one pause at a time, one conscious breath at a time, you are literally rewiring your brain and strengthening the muscles of wisdom and self-mastery. The Stoics believed that living a good life meant living in alignment with your highest rational nature, not perfectly, not without struggle, but with consistent, honest effort. Every day gives you dozens of opportunities to practice. The difficult co-worker, the frustrating traffic, the disagreement with someone you love. Each one is not just a problem to survive. It is a training ground. You are not here to be tossed around by every emotional wave life sends your way. You are here to become the kind of person who can sail through any storm with your character intact. That is what it means to train your mind to respond and not react. That is the Stoic path, and it is available to you, starting right now. If this gave you something valuable today, share it with someone who needs it. Drop in the comments which strategy you are going to try first, and subscribe so we can keep going deeper together.